Kia ora and kia orana. My name is Sonny Teio and welcome to the official launch of our Unlimited Living podcast, which is a waka for all people to achieve infinitely more and to live, love, life. I am so excited to launch this podcast as it has been something that I've wanted to do for a few years, but I guess it just wasn't the right time then. But now it is. And before we go any further, I just wanted to give a shout out to Kobe, Gigi, his wife, and his other beautiful daughters. It's just an unbelievable start to the week. Hearing the news about one of the legends that have passed away prematurely, for like people saying it's too early. He still had so much to bless our world with. Even though he's retired in the game, there was still so much work to do, and it was just so sad seeing the news, the videos on YouTube, and how everyone has responded to this unbelievable event. And it's so sad, it's so tough for those that are very close to him. Seeing the tears of grown men just broken by the sudden loss of Kobe Bryant, and the families that were the family that was also in the helicopter. It's just unbelievable. Such a terrible time, and my prayers and prayers of comfort and love go out to all the families that have been impacted by this accident that happened earlier this week. Well, let's carry on. Let's just launch this baby. It's our first podcast. This is the first episode of season 1 of Unlimited Living with Sonny Teio. And I thought the best way to start would be to share a little of my story, to give a strong foundation of what the purpose of this podcast is all about. Then I'm going to explain quickly what is unlimited living and why do we exist. And then finally I will finish off with how you can get exclusive access to my first book that I'm writing right now. It should be finished in the next few weeks, but I'll show you at the end of how you can get access to it, or you'll be one of the first. So, my story. Born in New Zealand. My parents are from the Cook Islands. My dad, he was a mechanic, a diesel mechanic, which meant he was just working on trucks, big trucks. My mum, she was a factory worker at Nestle, and she was there for over 25 years. And I'm the youngest of 3 boys. I believe I was not only the baby, but a real pain in the butt. I could never sit still, always looking for that next adventure. And those were the times we didn't have an iPad, iPhone, we didn't have an Xbox, PlayStation. Our adventure was the outdoors, and I really loved it. But for us, education wasn't a priority, but once old enough, we were just told, find a job and support the family. We didn't have a lot as a kid, but I did have food and a bed to sleep in. In my teens, I wasted so many opportunities to succeed at school. I was a clever kid and quite competitive. I didn't like to lose, so I actually excelled in school, but I didn't have the support to pursue higher education. So I spent my teenage years out of school, roaming the streets, making bad, stupid choices. However, my life radically changed at the end of my teens when I got arrested by God, and He rejuvenated me with a new drive, a passion, and a hope for a better future. In my 20s, because I dropped out of school at 14, the only work I could find was labor work, and in my spare time I invested in the youth of local community trying to encourage them to make better decisions in life. This was a rewarding experience, as I learned so much about myself that I realized that if I wanted to experience more in life, I needed to develop my capabilities and challenge my mindset. Then I fell in love and I married the woman of my dreams. When I turned 30, I started thinking about going back to school and finishing what I should have done in my teens, and wanted to be a better example to my children. So I moved to another city, away from my family, to study a bachelor's in information technology, which was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, not just academically, but also paternally. My 2 boys were born while I was studying, which added an extra challenge to life. So juggling study, work, and family duties was such a crazy time. Then, at the end of my 30s, I was called back to Auckland for family responsibilities, which I was hesitant about, but I had to do it for my parents. This eventually became a blessing in disguise for the next decade of my life. I realized that I possibly reached in my 40s, I realized that I possibly reached the halfway mark of my life, and there's still so much I wanted to achieve in life. So being fearless, I started an online business selling rugby league merchandise, which was so much fun and a fantastic experience. Although we were generating 6-figure sales per year, a change in the market meant that I had to close down the business, which was really tough because, like I said before, I'm quite competitive and I hate losing. But this was a battle that mentally I didn't have the goods to continue on. So for the last 5 years, I've been working in a salary job as an ICT and facilities manager. But right now, my heart is calling for entrepreneurial projects again. With my 50s approaching in the next 3 years, I anticipate to be able to tick off some of my mind-blowing goals in my life. So, here we are with this Unlimited Living podcast as one of the projects I've been working on to launch over the next 90 days. I am so excited right now and working very hard on developing myself and my capabilities, learning how people are enjoying successes in life with the mindset that if they can do it, I can do it. I just need to figure out how they did it and then act on it. One of my favorite quotes is insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting different results. So my thinking is that every year it has to be better than the year before. I feel like because our bodies are always renewing ourselves, I feel like that I've always got to be growing and moving forward in life. I would feel like a failure, like this is personal for me, if I was still doing the same kind of work that I was doing 20 years ago. I wouldn't be happy at all. So insanity is doing the same thing twice, but you expect a different result. You know, if you want things to change, then you got to find out what needs to change and then start acting on those changes. Even if it's only a 1 degree turn to the right, your destination would definitely change in 2 to 3 years. Right, I promised that I would talk about what is unlimited living. So unlimited living is a waka for all people that achieves infinitely more and to love life. So what does that mean? In 4 stages, a waka. Number 1, it means a canoe. And my ancestors traveled in a waka from Hawaii and down towards the southern east, kind of in between the French Polynesian islands and South America, and then eventually they came across to the west, southwest, heading towards until they landed in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and which created the Polynesian Triangle when you headed straight back up to Hawaii. So the waka is a vehicle for this journey, and a waka could be this podcast. It could be our social media channels. It could be our books that we write. It could be the workshops that we organize. It could be the webinars that we will be launching. Any kind of tools that we will use to share our content. For all people. Number 2, this means that our content is for all ages, all languages, and all cultures. We are passionate about helping all people, no matter what you come from, no matter what your history is. If you're willing to make a change, we will do our best to be there to help you out. Achieves infinitely more. Number 3, I believe that we can achieve everything that we hope for, and the only thing that limits us is our belief system, our lack of hope, our lack of vision, or our lack of passion. Our God is the God of the impossible, and the battle is in our mind, and that if we believe in our mind just like Kobe has, anything was impossible. If Kobe was a basketball player that kept saying, I'm going to miss, guess what? He was going to miss, but he never thought like that. He said, I'm going to get this. And if he did miss, he would still say, I'm going to get the next one. You know, it's the mindset that he had that anything was possible. Live, love, life. That's our number 4 factor. The 2 most important days in life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. And the second day is the day you find out why you were born. Time is our greatest asset, and we are never going to get it back. So let's enjoy and embrace everything life has to offer. Jesus said that I came to give life in abundance. Kobe is probably the perfect example of this live, love, life. When you look at his life, he was passionate about basketball, and because he was so passionate, he was so committed, he was so disciplined about being the best that he could be, he was able to enjoy the fruits of all his hard work, marry beautiful girls, and it's just amazing when you just have this attitude that you want to make the most out of life. So that is what unlimited living is all about. I believe that I was born to serve. I believe I was born to help people, and it gives me the greatest satisfaction when I can help someone live their dreams. So remember, the insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting a different result. Maybe you feel like you are stuck in a rut and you don't know how to break this daily grind. So join me in my journey of stepping outside of the box and making small changes in life that will radically change the course of the waka, of your ship or your waka. Even if, like I said, if you can turn 1 degree to the right, your destination in 2 to 3 years will be so much different than the destination you're already on course for, which could be just like Groundhog Day. So make sure you follow me here on anchor.fm Unlimited Living with Sonny Teio, and also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just at Sonny Teio. Just search for that. I'm the only one in this world with that name. I'm quite honored to have that uniqueness. Please don't hesitate to give us a 5-star rating and share this podcast with your family and friends. So thanks to you once again for listening to Unlimited Living with Sonny Teio, which is a waka for all people to achieve infinitely more and to live, love, life. But hey, there's more. I did promise one more thing, that if you follow us, we'll put you in a database to find out how you can get exclusive access to my first ever book later in the month of February. But next week we will be sharing our 12-week challenge. We'll be starting our 12-week challenge with 12 keywords to focus on for the first 6 days of the week. And then we use the last day of the week to review our progress of the word of the week. So the first keyword will be, or the first word of the week will be changes. So make sure you tune in next week. And thank you for listening. And thank you for taking the time out. One more shout out to Kobe and Gigi Bryant and the other families. And just all those that are grieving right now. I pray your blessing. I pray the blessing of God over you, that He would comfort you and give you the strength and the wisdom to carry on. We pray for peace. So thank you once again for listening to Unlimited Living with Sonny Teio, which is a waka for all people to achieve infinitely more and to live love life. Ka kite anō, and God bless you all.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/.